Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here. It's an honor to be asked to stand before a crowd like this. I had it in my email that this is supposed to be 5 minutes. And I also just heard from a beautiful presentation by a beautiful presenter that if I wasn't presenting through Facebook, I might as well sit down. So, 5 minutes. All time will be good. My name is Donovan Taves. I farm in the northeast corner of Louisiana. Been farming there for about 20 years. And recently I've embarked on a couple of different journeys, one being aerial imagery and the other one was soil health. So over time, each one of those can bring up a couple interesting things to bring to the farm. So that is a composite drone image of my farm zoomed in to my house and my operations. That's like 400 images that have been compiled into one to what I would consider useful imagery. This type of image, I believe, in the near future, maybe more so by the millennials, I don't know, but is going to be useful for them to decipher how to farm to feed future generations. My grandfather passed away in 1984. His big farm career was back in the 1950s. I didn't know all about how he had farmed because my father did not follow in my grandfather's footsteps. But as I have embarked on the soil health journey, my father keeps sharing things with me. He lives in Arkansas, so I don't see him all the time. But when we're together, he says, "Yeah, your grandfather did it this way." My grandfather was in soil health in 1950. Organic farming, manure spreading, many of the things that we try to pursue today, he was already involved in that. So it's an honor to me, even though there was a generation gap, to be doing something that some of my forefathers felt like was important. Certainly he didn't have tools such as this to have a little airplane to fly over the field and take images. The greenest images that you see here are the healthiest areas, and this is corn. And that comprised unit there is about 200 acres, give or take. So about 100 acres there I have what I would call good corn. About 40 acres I would call bad corn. Now, this is going to make it worse. Unfortunately, that is kind of right there where I'm farming. So we have that issue to contend with. But to be able to have tools like this to be used by youngsters that pick this up like a video game, and I'm of the Xers to think that some of these video games are probably a little overdone. They spend a little much extra time there. But having the expertise to where they wake up in the morning with tools like this, to take that 40 acres of production that is below normal, below average, unsatisfactory, and to bump the yield up there, to where they don't have to clear more rainforest in the Amazon, but they can gather more, not necessarily profit, but they can better use the lands that they were given, that they're in control of now. And these millennials that Ms. Amy referred to, that there's a difference in transition from the land from the grandfathers to the youngsters, it's going to be even more important to properly manage. And they're going to manage this land in ways that we haven't fully been understanding nor implementing, and we're just now seeing the introduction of some of this type technology that I believe is going to become more mainstream. And this type technology can go across pasture land, it can go across vegetables, it can go across forest, fields. The long-term farm, I believe, to feed the people needs to be better managed than what we are currently today. Precision agriculture, through the help of the NRCS, with their organization spreading the word and getting more people tuned into what precision ag is and what it can do, does a tremendous thing for agriculture as a whole. But those of us that are willing to put aside some of the ways that we were instructed, I'm going to say instructed because I wasn't particularly taught how to farm. I received instructions from friends and neighbors and some of my wife's family. But people that have been taught to farm it this way, it's difficult for them to change. But when you're going to see this gap and this land transition, I believe that more of these type technologies are going to come into play that are going to make a real difference in the long-term part of agriculture. The soil health, I am honored to be on a list it's a relatively short list in Louisiana, the Soil Health Network, promoting soil health, the proper use of fertilizers, the proper inputs, and demonstrating to our neighbors and such what different ways of going about getting the health of their soil back to what Hugh Hammond Bennett would like to see. I believe we are meeting and exceeding his dreams within the Soil Health Network when he envisioned grass being replanted in filter strips, tree buffer zones. If he knew that today we were going to have people that are actually going below the surface, he was there to protect the surface from blowing. But now, with the help of the NACD, Beth Mason doing a great job of leading the pack, she has a group of us that are willing to talk to our neighbors to demonstrate another level of being involved with the farm, caring for it, leaving something better when we leave it. Soil health in the nation right now, I believe we're sitting at going on 200. I can't see Beth. Maybe 200. Are we at 200 yet?
Not yet. Over 160.
Over 160. Spread across 50 states that are actively involved in recruiting more people. And the more people, it's amazing how even in my local district, people drive by and they look. Pretty soon you hear another person in another district and then they're talking and pretty soon someone else will try it. It's amazing how the soil can turn around and become more of the soils that we need to feed a growing population. The group that has been created with the National Association of Conservation Districts, their goal is to do what you preach and to preach what you do. And I believe that has a very strong commitment for us also to demonstrate to our neighbors. It really is amazing at how many naysayers that there are about improving the health of the soil and how it's going to work. Even in my neighborhood, I get laughed at. Most people that start out with soil health are going to get laughed at because some of the practices and techniques are way beyond in a different direction than what anybody locally has known. When you go out in a field of green oats, triticale, whatever it might be, and it's this tall and your neighbors think it's a growed up mess that you have failed to burn down properly. The next thing they see you out there with a planter, I'm here to tell you, it's not always fun being laughed at the coffee shop. But it happens. That is part of the deal. You have to get accustomed to being criticized and scorned and laughed at. But that was, this is June, so 6 months ago. 3 months ago we were planting. Today they're driving by, the neighbors are. I have some of the prettiest corn growing up through that cover. Can't see the cover anymore. Now the comments are, I can't believe how that cover crop is laid down and it's disappearing down into the soil and the crops are growing in greens. I feel like a combination of soil health, cover crops, and technology, we're going to go a long way. And I look forward to working with millennials. I'm serious, I do. I really do. Okay, that sounded heavy. So my oldest son is 18, he's fixing to be 19, and he helps me a lot with this. So he coached me on how to create that map, the first one or two, and I've been able to get him to now. So the generation gap, I'm experiencing it firsthand, but it's also given me an opportunity to look into how to deal with that gap, because I believe someone needs to teach them how to keep going with our farms. If there's such a gap between us, somebody has to stand in and teach them. And I know that they're willing to learn. It's just going to be learned differently than what we're accustomed to teaching. I wish we had time for questions, because I'd rather have questions and answer specific topics than to ramble. So with that, I will let Mr. Palmer, my friend, take back over.